All right. So how did I get connected with Defected Records? It's a long tale. That is a beautiful one, but I'll try to keep it really short. 2016, I connected with my very good friend and brother, Wajid, who was highly encouraging me to start releasing music on my own. And at that time, I explained to him I had released some music on my own, but I had a bad taste in my mouth because I was working with producers who didn't have my best interest in mind, and I just got spun around the ringer, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And he pushed me to not have that opinion, and so he started working with me, and we started making music, and we made a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that came out of that was a song that was released in 2018 called "I'm in Trouble." I love that song so much. That song is still blessing me to this day. And it instantly caught the eye of a ton of legendary, world-renowned, well-respected DJs. I'm talking like Kenny Dope, Honey Dijon, Steve Bug. One of the people that is a part of this story who caught the eye, it was Luke Solomon, who reached out to me directly and said, "Hey, what's up? Who are you? What is this song? This is amazing." And that was followed by Adrian Bookbinder, who at that time was an A&R assistant, but who is now the head of A&R at Defected Records. And she and I just started talking. And that same May, she came and met with me in Detroit. And it really started our conversation, because it was a long conversation with Defected. And so that conversation continued. They would come to the States. I would come to their events. I met Simon Dunmore, who was lovely and charming and so cool and down to earth. And I would go see them when I came to London. I've met with them. And we developed a friendship, and kept the lines of communication open. I wasn't quite ready to sign or do any work with anyone, because I needed to do I had to settle into the feeling that I was dealing with, And through the pandemic, a couple of things happened. The world got to stop and chill, and everyone got to reflect and sit back and relax and catch up on all the things that may have gotten past them. And during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of streaming, DJing online, and it really broadened my audience. And at that time, Simon, like everybody else in the world, had time on his hands. And so he used to watch my shows. And he reached out to me and would compliment me on the music that I was playing. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, people are really watching me. This is awesome. And then I got an email from the radio producer at Defected, who, his name is Tom Coxhead. Shout out to you, Tom. Who wanted to start a conversation with me doing voiceovers, which eventually became a conversation of me actually doing a radio show with Defected. And by all means, I was like, absolutely, yes, I'll do that. And that started going really well. And then it became a conversation. Adrian jumped in the conversation. Simon jumped in the conversation. And they offered me a record deal, a publishing and performance deal. And so I am a signed artist on Defected Records. The rest is history. I look forward to continuing this wonderful relationship and making it do what it do. Wow, this is a really great question. About how being a Detroiter and spending my summers in Chicago, how did that influence me in my development as an artist? I think that house music, much like techno, Chicago, much like Detroit, was playing this music on the radio. And that meant it was accessible. That meant that it was hood. That meant that it was yours. It meant that you knew it was local, because you had older cousins who were going to the clubs and were playing the music, the mixtapes of the DJs from said clubs, and they were doing routines in the driveway, and you could see the way that the people that you admired and looked up to were responding to this vibration, and that became a muscle memory, you know. And what's beautiful about the relationship between Chicago and Detroit is that we're very connected. We're like first cousins, you know. During the Great Migration, when folks were leaving to go up south, which is what we call the North, for jobs, is that you either went to St. Louis, you went to Chicago, or you went to Detroit. And of course, some people spread out and went to Minneapolis or Ohio or Indiana and certain things like that. But these three major cities really have something to say, you know, particularly Chicago and Detroit. So when my mother came up south from Louisiana, she settled in Chicago. When my father came to this country, he settled in Chicago. And so I have a huge amount of very close family that is there in Chicago and that I grew up around. I'm the youngest child of 5, and I'm the only one that was born in Michigan. My siblings are from Chicago. So like Chicago has a huge influence on me, let alone having spent every summer as a child there. And my second grade year as well, like seeing my cousins responding to this music and me being a shy, nerdy kid, like really sitting and absorbing it all, like that stayed with me. And I would take that home and I would see the connection to what I would see on a new dance show after school in Detroit, or see in the driveways in my neighborhood, or see at the community dance talent shows, or see on the street when I'm just driving in the car, or listen to on the radio. Like, this music comes from the hood. This music was on the radio. This was our everyday stuff, you know. And of course the connection, the similarities were there, and that is like my foundation. That is where I come from. There's no real separation for me. It's one handshake and the other. It's one mouth talking to the other mouth. Like, it's the same for me. It's a balance, and I'm grateful that I was exposed to that and carry that with me. So much so where you can't tell me nothing about this music. You can't tell me nothing because it's in me. It's a part of my spine. You know, it's a part of how I was raised, and you can't take that from people when they have that experience. So that's what that was like. Grateful for that. Okay, what's next for Rimarkable? Actually, I've been doing a lot of cool stuff lately. And if you're not aware, please get into it. I just released a single with Hyena. Actually was the first single off of Hyena's new album. The single is called The Manifesto. It's doing really, really well. You can check it out on all streaming platforms. I love this track because it has a message in the music. And now more than ever, we got to come together. And I'm all about that. I'm all about peace, abundance, prosperity, unity. Like, let's bring it back to the music. Let's put that back in the music. I'm all about that right now. As well as that, I'm releasing some new songs coming up soon. It's not always a boom, boom, boom kind of thing in this game. So everybody just hold tight. I got some heat coming for you. Some legendary producers. A lot of stuff came out of the very first Defected Writers Camp. And I'll just tell you some of the people that were there in the building. We were all working together. I'm talking Melee, Mike Dunn, Shapeshifters, Honey Dijon, Luke Solomon, Low Steppa, like some heavy hitters were in the building. We got some good stuff coming out. So hold tight. I'm also going to be continuing with my very amazing radio show that I love, that's doing really well. That is a monthly, and Defected actually just kicked off the Defected Broadcasting House which is a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365 streaming network where you can catch all things house music, all things house music, all things house music. And I'm going to be doing another show probably towards the end of June, so look out for that. And right now we are getting into the festival season. You can catch me at not playing at the festival, but some adjacent parties at Movement Festival in Detroit. I'm super excited. This is like, if you're a DJ from Detroit, like playing at Movement or anything related to Movement is a big damn deal, and I'm super, super excited. Even in my OG status, like playing there for the first time is just amazing, and I'm super thrilled with that. So you can catch me over the Movement weekend. Get your little guidebook so you can flip through it. Also, I will be in Ibiza for Defected Ibiza, and you can also catch me in Croatia at Defected Croatia, which is always a phenomenal time, or at least always being, this is my second time, so it's been always for me. So I'm super excited for that. And I got a lot of tour dates coming up. You can catch me in Europe late summer. I'm going to be giving it to you. So keep an eye out. I have some dates in the United Kingdom as well. All this stuff is coming back to me. I got some Paris stuff. Keep your ear to the street. Check me out online and catch up and stay glued. I'm coming for the streets with the heat. That's what's up. And also, I have a major announcement to make in the next few weeks. It's related to my class that I started 12 years ago called The Alchemy of DJing for aspiring DJs. It's a wonderful educational workshop that gives DJs some insight on the art form, as well as what's actually happening, not just mixing two records together, but what's actually happening and its responsibility. And I'm super honored and thrilled to make this announcement. So stick around and keep your ear to the street for that. Yeah, wow, that's a good question. How does it feel now being a woman in this industry? Wow, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've watched it, this being this DJ world, I've watched it make more room for women, and I am grateful because it has not always been easy. I came up in a time when there were hardly any women. It was almost like frowned upon to be a woman doing this. And not just that, being a black woman, it was very few and far between, you know. I can tell you countless stories of racism, sexism, being afraid for my life, taking down equipment at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and driving down dark streets and highways, carrying expensive stuff, and being young and doing this stuff, to being treated like shit in the venue when the sound people don't think you know what you're doing, just being humiliated, and when people trying to like play you about your money, like endless amazing crazy stories, you know, and also having gone through all of that and then seeing things open up for women, but you have to have a certain physical aesthetic to be successful or to be given a shot at a platform, you know. I watched all of that stuff happen, and yeah, you know, it did develop a hardness in me, and I'm grateful that I've worked through that, and I've just been witnessing women just running the show, women and femmes just running the show, and we're not taking no more shit, you know, and it's still a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of work to do, and I'm here for it, and I'm grateful that I am in a situation where I have a worldwide platform that I can show up as my best self and make more space for more women of color, more black women and femmes, and really show the world that our strength, our insight, our magic is important, and you can't do this without us. And I know you wish you could, but you can't. You know, women and femmes, we are here to stay, baby. And I'm grateful for the industry just making more space and the tone being set and more demands being met. Like, women are just being gangster out here. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So here for it.